Hello, warriors. Welcome to the You Movement. I am B. And wow, so many different shifts in perspective happening in my sphere. The expression, you can't see the wood through the trees or the forest through the trees. Well, when you get out of the trees and you look behind you and you start seeing the wood, wow. It's mind-boggling to me. The very fact that I've been able to do videos in this last year, and I've done a lot of videos this last year, and most of them are a foggy blur of my memory at this stage. But the fact that I was able to do any videos at all is mind-boggling to me. It really is. I hope that they were okay because I'm just so in a state of absolute confusion and perplexed mental capacity in thinking that I'm as able to do any videos at all. So I've talked a lot about my journey in segments, in so much as I've seen things, I'm like, aha, okay, I can share this with you. And then, oh, I've got a new piece of the puzzle. And so the puzzle throughout this last 4 years of my life, since I started this healing journey, those of you that have been following me from the beginning know that it's been up and down, all around healing process, as I've worked very diligently to heal my life, to unfuck my life. That's where it started from. It was the Unfuckening Movement because I knew my life was fucked royally. My health, my everything, every single layer of my life was a clusterfuck extraordinaire. Excuse the French. So in 2019, December, I got very ill and my oxygen levels dropped dramatically down to about 80%. And in so doing, I thought I was dying. And something snapped inside of me. Something woke up inside of me, and that was Soul. And Soul said to me, save yourself. And I've said that part of the story before, but what part of the story I didn't say, which included that, was very much in reference to my marriage and getting out of that marriage. And all the way along this process, I knew that I had to work exceptionally diligently, and it was going to be a very arduous task. I had tried to get out of my marriage multiple times. At least 5 different marital counselors, many times of distancing and saying, you know, I don't want this anymore. Let's be separated. But the problem was he never would leave. He just wouldn't leave. And over time, I'd eventually get worn down again and okay, yeah, well, let's try this again. Over and over and over again, these cycles would continue. And I couldn't see. I couldn't see what was going on. For the life of me, I could not see the patterns. I couldn't see the manipulation. I couldn't see the lies. I couldn't see the coercion. I couldn't see the devaluing. I couldn't see the financial abuse to keep me hooked. I couldn't see the ways of control. I couldn't see. I did see the raging. I didn't like that. And I did see that there was always a problem. And I'm like, can we fix this problem now? Can we fix this crisis now? Can we deal with this next thing? You know, like work. Trying to always solve the unsolvable. He was just always so down on his luck, and I was going to swoop in and save him, you know, this empathetic superhero person trying to micromanage the universe and control everything, not understanding that in the forest, in the insanity of that all, I was being completely mind-fucked for years and years. And when Soul said to me, you need to save yourself, I knew that it was going to take time, and I knew it was going to take effort, and I couldn't do anything with the state that my health was in. So mission one became healing my body. So if you're not aware of the psychosomatic connection between living in constant trauma, constant chaos, constant stress, and in that fight or flight, adrenal firing, cortisol being milked state of mind, there were cycles of burnout and cycles of caretaking, and then cycles of stress, and then cycles of burnout, and then cycles of caretaking. And it was like getting punched in the face over and over and over again energetically. Now, I'm not saying that anything physical happened, because it didn't. So I'm saying energetically, it was being like in a completely and utterly concussed state of trauma. And what happens to the body, and I'm a little bit aggravated and irritated, so sorry about my tone, this isn't really something that I have a huge amount of control over. This is the natural processes of a nervous system coming back online. When your nervous system has been off of line for an extended period of time, and please go and research if you want more information on the psychosomatic connections between long-term abuse, trauma, and gaslighting, and all of these types of things, and what it does to your nervous system. And when your nervous system becomes dysregulated, your entire body becomes dysregulated. All your systems go out of whack, and every system of mine was out of whack. I think we can all agree on that. I was 135 pounds plus, because I don't know the exact amount. As it hit 250, I stopped looking at the scale, but at least 135 pounds over weight. I had diabetes, fibromyalgia, sleep apnea. I had peripheral neuralgia, trigeminal neuralgia, or some sort of nerve damage going on that's still present. I had irritable bowel syndrome, low back pain. I had injuries that just wouldn't heal. I had brain fog. I had failed an Alzheimer's test because I had poor memory. I had depression, diagnosed as major depressive disorder. I had general anxiety disorder. I had complex post-traumatic stress disorder. It was insanity. It was absolute insanity. And I couldn't see any of it, because when you're in the middle of it, when you're in the middle of the fog, you can't see the wood through the trees. You can't see anything. You can't see it. So when people say, why didn't you just get out? Well, trust me, I tried. I tried, and I tried, and I tried, and I tried. I tried 5 marital counselors. I tried asking multiple times for a divorce, for a separation, for it to be over, for the insanity to end. I tried, and I tried, and I tried. And I would always then get the promises and I'll change, and I'm trying my best, and your expectations, do you expect me to be perfect? I'm doing the best I can, and all this nonsense. And I'm angry now. I'm angry as I'm resetting my nervous system and still in a state of recovery. I had no idea that once you finally escape something, and that took me 4 years to escape. That took me 4 years of getting my physical health strong enough to be a warrior. That took me 4 years of ending every numbing agent that was being handed to me, whether that be pharmaceuticals, alcohol, caffeine, pot, smoking, food, sugar, anything that was being handed to me routinely. I quit. And with everything that I quit, I had to deal with all the emotions that were being repressed for years and years and years. And I had to deal with all the mental habits, the mental circles of being stuck in something that, in essence, I had become completely and utterly brainwashed in, and was in the habit of gaslighting myself. oh, but look, he's such a nice guy, and 49% of the time things are good, and it's just 51% of the time things aren't bad, but he's my person, and he takes care of me, and all this cognitive dissonance going on of like two brains happening at the exact same time, two completely different realities happening at the exact same time. And so to connect those two hemispheres and to come into a place of reality again, I can't even begin to express to you how difficult it is when you are trauma bonded to somebody. And I never even heard of the term trauma bond before. I really didn't. That's something that's come into my consciousness in this last year. Yes, I've heard of the term narcissist before because my mother was a narcissist, and through my research I've come to the understanding that oftentimes people who have been raised in a traumatic childhood home where narcissistic energy is present, where you've not developed healthy sense of self, you've not developed healthy sense of boundaries, you've not developed all the coping mechanisms that normal people in a healthy environment have grown up to, like, be able to see the red flags in situations and be able to, like, identify something's off here. If you have and carry with you a lot of trauma, it's a normal situation that you go into relationship and you perpetuate that trauma over and over again. And listen, I would have been the type of person, and so I'm very humbled because I would have been the type of person that would have said this type of thing would never have happened to me, and I'm a healer. I'm a Reiki master. Peace, love, and harmony, and all of that. And I'm just helping. And they're down on their luck. And there were 1,000,001 ways that I gaslit myself in not seeing what was right in front of my face the whole time. So I'm here today grounding some energy as I'm a couple of weeks now since I signed divorce papers, and I'm through the woods, I suppose. I'm out the other side. I have to wait for those to go through court, which is going to take another 8 months. But and as I thought that I'd be better. And that came as a huge disappointment and shock that the recovery after escaping from this type of a situation isn't something that happens overnight. It's not something I thought when I went no contact that, I would heal. I thought, okay, you give myself a couple months and I'll be fine. And I'm not fine. My nervous system is still out of whack and I'm exhausted all the time. I go through cycles where I can accomplish a lot and then down again and not accomplishing anything. I'm seeing the reality of situations hit me in the head every single day like anvils dropping. It's unbelievable. The wreckage that one person can do to your life, physically, mentally, emotionally, spiritually. For what purpose, I don't know. I'll never understand the motivation of what was done to me. I'll never understand that because my mind doesn't work that way. I am a compassionate person that, always believes the best in people and wants to help people. So I don't understand the motivation of the type of individual that purposely sets out to hurt somebody, to destroy somebody. Like, that's their what was the point? I guess it was just fun. in some capacity to them, to a sick mind, to a sick soul, to somebody devoid of empathy and devoid of compassion and devoid of integrity, honor, respect, just completely devoid of all of those things. Somebody recently said to me, I should just get over it, or I should just move on, something along those lines. And I've done some writing on Facebook in relationship to this, because I would love nothing more to just move on. But it's taken me 4 years to unfuck my body, to get strong enough to get out. It's taken me the same amount of time to process through and become psychologically strong enough in a warrior to escape from something that I hope nobody ever has to actually go through. And my empathy goes out to anybody who is struggling with narcissistic abuse or, And no, I can't give them a diagnosis and say that they have narcissistic personality disorder, but I can call out the abuse as being narcissistic. It's taken me a long time to get the vocabulary and understand these games, because they're so foreign to me, and understand what has happened to me. It's taking me time. It's taking me time now to regulate my nervous system. And they say when you go from a state of dorsal vagal exhaustion, where it's absolute burnout, you then climb up through, and it all ties into what I've talked a long time about of, trying to raise that vibrational frequency, and you go through anger and you go through frustration, and eventually, things will right themselves and regulate themselves, and you'll feel safe again, and all these types of things that I would love to feel. There's been so much fear along this journey for me since that wake-up call came along. And so whether you want to call it like an escape plan, an awakening, or what, it's been a very long and arduous process for me. And there's elements to my story that I'm still trying to wrap my head around and still trying to understand. And in a lot of ways, I'm very grateful for a good few people, and some of those people aren't at all aware of what they've done in helping me. They really have no awareness of that. So I'm going to just say thank you to them now, and first I'm going to say thank you to my twin flame situation, and I have zero contact with this human. I hope he's living a great life, but if I had never had that interaction, that heart opening, that kundalini that just blew my heart wide open, I would never have had the love for me, the love that I could feel. It was like palpable, to give me the motivation to keep moving and to keep walking and to keep plugging away at it, because the hoovering that I experienced was astronomical. The being sucked back into it time and time again throughout my entire process. That love that I felt gave me the balls to ask for a divorce again. That gave me the balls to finally get them out of my house. Gave me the balls to keep going, to keep trucking at it and keep plugging at it, and every single day keep motivated. So I'm very, very grateful that I had that experience. I know a lot of people out there think the twin flame journey is all about a romance, and it certainly was not for me. It was a motivator, it was a trigger, it was a catalyst to bring about helping me escape from a situation that I had tried for over a decade to escape from, and I couldn't do it on my own. I could not. I couldn't do it on my own. I tried countless times. So I have the utmost gratitude for the twin flame journey, for waking me up and giving me a love inside of my heart that it saved me. It saved me. I'd also like to thank one of my dearest friends, because she came into my life in the last couple years, and I think she was a key player that he hadn't taken into consideration, because when I was at my worst in the awakening process, he was using that to his advantage to try to get inroads back into my life. And he had gotten into the ear of every single person around me. All my other friends were saying things like, he seems like such a nice guy, you should give him another chance. And so this is what's called flying monkeys, is when they elicit flying monkeys. So even like the weirdest thing was, like, I'd go to an acupuncture appointment and my acupuncturist was like, I really hope the two of you get back together. He seems like such a sweetheart. And I was like, that's a highly inappropriate thing to say. That's a highly inappropriate thing to say. And so I was like, that's a flag. But my one friend, he never got in her ear. He never ever got into her psyche. And she, if it hadn't have been for her and having somebody outside of his powers at be, his performance, I wouldn't have gotten out. I wouldn't have escaped. I would not have survived. She saved my life countless times, because she believed me. She listened to me. She held space for me when I was at my absolute worst, in the darkest of darks, the deepest of dark nights of the soul, trying to understand what was happening to me spiritually, emotionally, physically, and in my 3D realm, and what was happening in this situation. So I say that to you now because I know she's watching and she knows who she is. And I love her to pieces for what she's done. I will be forever grateful. And I say this to you, to share this with you, because you never know how much impact that you can have on somebody's life by being there, by listening, by hearing the truth and not judging and not distorting. When somebody says that something's off, believe them. Believe them. Just in believing them, you can save a life. You can save a life just by believing them. Today's videos, I guess, a little bit are all about me, and in so doing, I hope to share, in case if there's others out there that are stuck in trauma bonded situations where they're experiencing narcissistic abuse. You're not alone. I understand. Please reach out. Find a safe place. Find safety. Find safety physically. Find safety emotionally. Find safety psychologically. Find safety in every realm that you can find. It takes time. It's taking me time to regulate and rebuild and unfuck all of the damage that is still all around me that I need to deal with. Some days are better than others, and one step at a time, make it aligned. But as a community of empaths, a community of light workers, a community of people who have been scapegoated, experience things that they never should have experienced, you have my empathy. And as a community of people, we can overcome this. We can collectively save ourselves. That said, peace out. All my love.